The medium looked directly at me and said my mother's name, the name she had legally buried with her past, the name no living person in that room was supposed to know. It was November of 1924. The Hotel Bellmont had stood on the corner of Rue Margot and the Old Merchant District for 60 years, and in that time it had hosted kings, swindlers, and the quietly desperate. I was the latter. My mother had died 3 weeks prior, and a colleague had pressed a card into my hand at the funeral, cream-colored, engraved with only a room number and a time. The Bellmont, room 14. Midnight. I should not have gone. The room was smaller than I expected for such a grand hotel. 8 chairs arranged in a circle, a single candle at the center, a woman seated at the far end who introduced herself only as Madame Vive. She was perhaps 60, with the kind of stillness that made the air around her feel held. The other guests spoke in low voices. I said nothing. When the candle dimmed without any draft to explain it, Madame V closed her eyes. What followed was unremarkable at first. The low hum, the silence stretched like fabric over something sharp beneath it. 2 other guests received what they called messages. Vague, glancing things. A name, a color. The kind of detail that could mean anything to someone who wanted it to mean something. Then Madame V turned to me. She had not looked at me before that moment. Not once. She said the name, not the name my mother had lived under for 30 years. The other one. The name from before the war, before the border crossing, before everything my mother had told me was a simplified version of a story too heavy to carry whole. My throat closed. Madame V spoke slowly, as though receiving words through water. She said my mother wanted me to find the letters. She said they were behind something blue. She said, and here her voice shifted, dropped an octave into something that no longer sounded quite like her, that what my mother had done, she had done to protect the one person she could not name. The candle went out. When the lamp was relit, Madame V was sitting with her hands folded, eyes open, expression politely blank, as though nothing unusual had happened at all. I left without speaking to anyone. In my mother's apartment the following morning, behind the blue ceramic clock on her mantelpiece, the one I had always meant to ask her about, I found an envelope. Inside were 7 letters, written in a language I did not speak, addressed to a name I did not recognize, and signed with the name Madame Vive had spoken in the dark. I have never returned to the Hotel Bellmont. I have never had the letters translated. Some part of me understands, in a way I cannot explain and have never tried to, that there are answers I was not supposed to reach, and that whatever presence spoke through that room knew exactly where the line was and why I should not cross it. The clock is still on my mantelpiece. I have never wound it. It has never needed winding. And yet every morning without exception it shows the correct time.